What up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your boy Adam Butler. That's Paul Spann.
Black man Spann in the building.
Oh, that's nice right there. And we are
the gatekeepers.
Oh, it flowed so well. It flowed so well. Y'all don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
it flowed so well. We know.
Yeah. Episode 2, we are officially back. Here to talk about all things the culture, man. Shouts out to everybody that listened and watched the last episode and comment on the last episode. It's been a while, but we here and a lot has gone on. I wish we could cover everything, Pete, that we've missed out on all through the Christmas break and the New Year and all of the stuff, right? But one story that doesn't go away is the Kendrick and Drake story.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to that in a second, but before that, I want to throw a little curveball at you. I want to ask you something, okay?
I'm ready.
I have a question for
you. Yo.
Did you watch any of the All-Star festivities this weekend?
I watched all of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't. I watched a little bit of the three-point contest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I watched the dunk contest because I'm a glutton for punishment, and for some reason I still tune into the dunk contest
to watch Mac McClung.
To watch Mac McClung win it for the third straight time.
Yeah,
a record.
Yeah, in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not watch the All-Star game. In fact, instead of watching the All-Star game, I watched the SNL 50 special, which was
I flipped back and forth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shouts to Eddie Murphy, man.
Yeah,
shouts out to Eddie Murphy.
Especially when he was being Tracy. No, it was hilarious.
It was great. It was great. I asked you about All-Star Weekend just because clearly there's a lot of controversy around All-Star Weekend, especially the All-Star game. What would you do, Pete? Like, what would you do about All-Star Weekend?
Bro, and I know many people have regurgitated this, but the state of affairs that the All-Star game is in the current players' fault. It's their demise, their lack. Honestly, and I won't put everything on LeBron. But the lackluster attitude, firstly in the dunk contest, which understand something. And think about us in middle school and high school, and even as early adults. I'm not even talking about like the dunk contest and All-Star and NBA All-Star Weekend was a big deal. Like NBA All-Star Weekend was just as synonymous with Super Bowl. It's NBA All-Star Weekend, it's Super Bowl. They were like the same type of big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like you were really honestly hyped for it. Then I think when all the and here's the thing, this is what the fans want. We want to see all of our number one people competing, all of our actual All-Stars, and no shade at the people that compete. And if I'm speaking right now specifically in the dunk contest, no shade on the ones that actually compete. But back in the day, it was a source of pride. Like it was like, I'm the best, you're the best. Now this is the weekend for us to prove. Like during everything is about our teams. Right now it's about us as individuals. We're the best. Mano and mano. I'm going at you. AI going at Jordan. Kobe and Jordan going at one another. Tracy McGrady. Like that's how it was. So I think that obviously the NBA is a business. So they're scraping and scrambling, trying to figure out anything that they can do to get viewership up. That little tournament style situation. I mean, I guess it was semi-cool and semi-effective, but like if you were a true fan of the NBA, you remember back in the day, East versus West. Like we're not expecting you to go out there and put blood, sweat, and tears and get yourself hurt, but go play some competitive basketball, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I hold on. Clear the pipe.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't know what they could do. It seems that all of the NBA's problems seem to be bubbling up this year. They're all seem like all are coming home to roost like this year. Which is interesting. These are things that in our private conversation we've talked about a lot. A lot of my friends have talked about You know, where we thought the NBA was going, and it's weird. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of the NBA, but like it's kind of scary how it's one of the things where you could see a problem coming and then no one does anything about it. That's kind of scary just in general,
Yeah.
right? In life. We see
Yeah.
it in like in our real lives, right? But it does feel like the NBA has had a problem all year. And you can kind of like poo-poo it off and say, well, you know, the marquee player is an older guy now, so he can't put the league on his back. And you can say, like, well, when Jordan retired, there was a fall off, even though you had Kobe and Iverson in the league. This is true. There was a ratings fall off
Big time.
after Jordan retired. And me and you are old enough to remember how the NBA felt 01, 02.
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt kind of like it's kind of stale. It was weird. So,
Yeah.
so I'll give the NBA some grace there that LeBron isn't retired, but I mean, no one is looking at LeBron and going like, yo, that's the dude. And then now you're trying to figure out who's the new guy. We thought it was Ja Morant. It still could be Ja Morant,
Right.
but like Ja Morant had his issues. AD could be that guy, even though he's saying he don't want to be that guy, but he could be that guy. But then you have foreign players like Wemby and Joker and people like that you can't really relate to like that, right?
Yeah.
I seen this happen in boxing. I seen this happen in tennis.
Yeah.
Okay. Where your stars, your heavyweight division was full of guys from the UK, big giant dudes from the UK that had a different fighting style, and it just wasn't appealing to the American viewer. The same thing with like tennis, you know, I could go on a piece of, you know, I won't work out too much, but why it's interesting to me is that the NBA All-Star game is all about the stars, as you said, right? I'm going to leave the dunk contest alone for a second, just focus on the All-Star game. If you don't have a star, and I can make the argument that the NBA, now NBA guys are going to tell me I'm wrong, right? People that are like super into the NBA. Same thing happened with boxing for years. I kept telling people, you don't have a superstar in boxing. You have a villain in Mayweather at the time, but you don't have an antagonist. You don't have a protagonist. Excuse me. You don't have a good guy.
Right.
You got a guy everybody want to see lose, but you don't have someone we all rooting for.
Right.
So if you're an NBA fan, you'll tell me, no, Steph's still doing his thing, man. You don't understand it. And I'm a huge AD fan, right? You don't have a superstar in the NBA. A guy who is the face of your league. Therefore, no one wants to watch the All-Stars. Not to mention that some of the NBA guys have become curmudgeons. Specifically, one of my favorite players of all time, Kevin Durant. Very anti. Don't want to be there. Don't want to, you know what I'm saying? And so you have that. Then you have
back and forth with fans.
Yeah. Then you have the idea going from team to team. You know, so it doesn't matter who represents what team. You don't really play for my team. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of problems in the NBA. Not including you have half of your markets that are useless and pointless and no one cares about them. You're top heavy as hell, right? Your biggest story of the year on and off the court was Luka getting traded to the Lakers. Okay. You got a lot of problems. But when we talk about All-Star Weekend specifically, in my humble opinion, I might be wrong about this, but in my opinion, the All-Star game was never the draw of the weekend for me. The draw of the weekend is the dunk contest.
Yeah.
And if your dunk contest fails, your weekend fails.
It's the hype that leads into this. Saturday night is Saturday night leading into Sunday. Yeah.
Three-point contest is like the good warm-up.
Exactly.
It's pretty epic.
Exactly.
It's got the right guys in it. Right? Always leads up. It's why the dunk contest is last. It's why we still talk about the dunk contest. You don't hear anybody talking about, man, the three-point contest been kind of weak for the past 5 years.
Right. The skills contest was crazy. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or, man, I wish the skills contest, I wish they do something to fix the skills competition. No, the only thing we talk about, is that game in the dunk contest.
Yes.
Okay. The game is an easy fix because all they got to do is give some effort. And apparently, I did not watch the game, but every sports show I watched said that they gave effort, but they didn't
when
like.
They played those rookies, when they played those rising stars,
yeah,
it was just a sense of pride. We're not going to let these youngsters come and beat us, so we're going to actually be competitive. And I'm glad that they did that to let them know that you can actually be competitive with the guys that are actually your peers, that are other all-stars, and no one is going to get, like, obviously, Adam, we all know none of us want anyone to get hurt. Guess what?
Yeah.
For years, people have been playing like Kobe.
Yeah, man.
It's another basketball game.
Yeah, come on, man.
Like, it's another basketball game.
And, hey, look, the NFL dudes was playing, and they don't, but at least they admitted it, right? At least the NFL guys in the NFL admitted, like, look, man, this game, anyway, they're not going to do it.
Right.
They're not going to go out here and hit each other. They're not going to, let's just play some flag football.
Yes.
To honor everything. Okay. But even for years, when the Pro Bowl was violent, like a real football game, I could count on my hand how many times. I remember Drew Brees got hurt one year. That's just the only one I remember.
Yeah.
The bad injury. I think it was, Drew Brees got hurt. Man, that's all I can remember. Somebody. I seen Sean Taylor. We all seen that clip.
Come on, we know.
Destroy a punter.
We know.
And the dude got up.
And it was business.
Yeah, and so, the likelihood in a basketball game.
That's my point. I understand it in football, like, come on, let's be real. You collide, like, at any given time. But you playing hoops. And like I said, obviously you can get hurt, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's interesting. But
what's crazy is you don't show any effort in the All-Star game, but go play pickup ball at every university.
Yeah, and every Rucker League and every little at the farms and all that, right? We get it. And and you're right. But the dunk contest, I still think anchors. You can have a bad All-Star game with a couple little moments in it, and no one remembers. Look, I can remember on the back of my hand 2 or 3 epic All-Star games. The Jordan retirement year when they kept giving them the ball to get one of them to hit the game winner, and Kobe ruined it, right? Because Kobe a competitor. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Tracy McGrady ruined it. No, not Tracy. Jermaine O'Neal ruined it.
Yeah.
Because he fouled Kobe, but that's a whole other thing. But they was trying to give MJ his storybook, ended or whatever. Yeah. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And man, I ain't trying to be fun. I'm sure there's something in between. I'm just not thinking about. But when Magic got sick,
and he came back.
Hit
him with the 3-pointer. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one a couple of years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, when it got kind of heated. Chris Paul and Westbrook and LeBron and them were kind of going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But other than that, the game, you get a couple of fun moments in the game and they play hard, people are usually satisfied. It's the dunk contest. Okay? And what I find frustrating, and you brought up LeBron earlier, and I agree with you that LeBron was the first dunking face of the league.
Yes.
That did not participate. It was almost like they all did it. You know what I mean? Like Jordan did it, Kobe did it, Vince Carter did it. Whoever was like the guy at the moment, they did it. Dwight Howard was out there jump in the dunk contest. You know what I'm saying? So, he set a standard.
Yes.
That now you got guys like John Morant and AD and whoever else. They haven't done it yet. And now you got like a G League dude. I don't even know if dude really play for the Orlando Magic, or did they just sign him?
They probably just said that. I think he might have a 2-way with them, and they just went with him being on the Magic as opposed to the G League team that he truthfully plays.
So they bending the rules to let a G League dude, who is and now you got a problem because you got a professional dunker, a guy like we all seen them dudes on like TV or whatever. They really don't imagine, because that's all they do. It's like Lethal Shooter. Shout out to Lethal Shooter. I'm not challenging you or nothing like that.
Right.
But it's like
right.
Lethal Shooter can shoot from wherever.
He's talking about him in the comments.
Hey, look at him. Hey, look, bruh. That's the best ever. I saw you in the comments. Shout out to Lethal Shooter, dog. Shout out to Lethal Shooter. DMV old Lethal Shooter, by the way, man.
Right,
Shout out to him.
right.
I love Lethal Shooter, man. That's funny stuff, boy. But no, but he'll tell you, you know what I mean? He's not gonna go in the NBA and cook up like that. He can shoot from wherever because that's his expertise. He's a shooting coach. He's a shooting expert. Okay, I mean he can't hoop. I know the man can hoop, but
Right.
like on the NBA, I mean,
Right.
if good, he'd be
Right.
in the NBA doing that. He'd be Steph Curry,
Right.
right? So yeah, if you're just gonna hire like the best 3-point shooter in the world, like a guy that just does nothing but shoot 3-point, that's all you're gonna have in a 3-point competition. He's gonna beat Dame every now and then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't have
Yeah.
professional, so I don't need. I'm gonna tell you, bro. I'd rather see John Morant go out that jump and do some pretty vicious dunks any day over watching the trick artists do like these spectacular jumping over cars and jumping over Bama, spinning and all that, because that's all he got. He just got time to practice it.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a real dunk competition, and the stars are what matter.
It really does. And the thing is, what you have to think also, Adam, when and it's not a crap on LeBron session in the least bit, but when you set that standard, some of these guys are really young. They're in their 20s. They like the only thing that they have to go on is looking up things. They don't have that same element of nostalgia and pride at the way that the All-Star game used to be. And God bless Anthony Edwards. I love him as a player. I love him when he speaks. Sometimes he speaks with the youth that he has. You understand what I'm saying? Like he at times even, and I would akin this to an element of ignorance, because at times he just says things that are ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like just be, and I don't mean it like he's a stupid person. I mean he just doesn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's speaking from a 23-year-old standpoint.
Young as hell. He's extremely young. Yeah. So the other one was running around with guns on IG Live because he's a young dumb man. Trust me. On my shows, I ripped into John Morant. People know how I felt about John Morant in those situations because John Morant is one of the most exciting players to watch. And it was super frustrating to watch him potentially throw that all the way for dumb shit. Like that was irritating. But you got to remember, these are extremely young.
Very young.
Extremely
very
young.
You think about this? You listen to some of these guys, and no offense to this guy either, and their GOAT is Paul George.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Right. And we can begin to wrap this up. You could think about how important the dunk contest and how important the last guy that did the dunk contest, the legend that did the dunk contest before any given player was, because everyone was trying to jump from the free throw line. And guess what? It wasn't because of MJ. MJ jumped from the free throw line because Dr. J jumped from the free throw line. Right? Then a couple of other Bama's tried to jump from the free throw line in between them. Then Vince Carter jumped from the free throw line with 2 hands. Right? No, I'm sorry, I missed one. Kobe jumped from the free throw line. Right? Then Vince Carter did it with 2 hands.
Then Bean did it behind the back. Right?
Yup. And then what's your man, light-skinned dude that did it with between his legs from the free throw line? Yeah, right. Sorry. There you go. You just said that. Yeah. So you have like people. That shows you that like I want to be, and some of them guys didn't end up being the guy, right? But they showing you that like, yo, the guy did this before me, right? All the way back to Julius Erving. That's why Julius Erving jumped from the free throw line one way, and then MJ said, "I'm gonna cock the ball back for the free throw. I put my legs up." You know what I'm saying? And so that shows you just that one dunk.
And it meant something.
That one dunk alone, it meant something to you. Jumping over cars and jumping through flames and all that props and having the dude come out and hold it. That's great.
It is.
It's great. I'll tell you what, that little homie from the Spurs, he was never going to win it.
Oh yeah.
But had he not missed a couple of dunks first, it just hit 2 drains. I was more impressed with that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I would really, they're not listening to this show, but if you are, I would really encourage Anthony Davis. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Davis, bro. On my other show, I rant and rave about your shoe.
Yeah.
Your shoe was
Anthony Edwards, yes.
Yeah. Your sneaker was sneaker of the year. You the man. You got it all It's all set up. Okay? You and John Morant, you wouldn't even need another person in the dunk contest. It could be a
Zion Williams.
one-on-one. Hey, Zion could do it too. But imagine a one-on-one. Hey, I'm cool with Zion Williamson doing it. I'm, stay in shape. Imagine the marquee, Paul.
Yes.
All-Star Weekend. John Morant versus Anthony Davis in a dunk off. They worried about their dunks looking as good.
Mac McClung and Zion Williamson is over with.
In the cut. Listen, they worried about their dunks not living up to certain people.
Yeah.
We're telling you, I'm telling you, I don't know if you agree, but what audience agrees. I'm telling you, it's the presence of
your
the
presence alone. Yes.
Not your dunk. We've seen every dunk imaginable.
Yeah.
It's not about that. Just like we've seen every boxing match imaginable.
Yeah.
Okay. We just want to see the star power.
Come on.
That's what we see.
Do it for the fans, man. And allow this generation of kids to see that. Like they're going to grow up thinking it's no big deal. And honestly, it brought an air of Adam. It brought an air of we're too cool for this.
Yeah. It did. 100. So I hope y'all do it. I'd like to be into All-Star Weekend. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad you watched P.
Yeah.
But I was 100%. I don't even want to tell you what I was watching instead of
All-Star. You know I'm watching.
Huh? I know you watching.
I'm watching regardless.
Hey, bro, I was looking on my phone at the dunk contest. Yeah. I was in that joint watching Love Is Blind with my wife on Saturday, bro. And I wasn't even blown. I wasn't even like,
Hey, the dunk contest really has to do better. Yeah,
hey, bro, listen. I wasn't even. There was a time in my life when I used to get seriously blown that All-Star Weekend was on Valentine's weekend.
All the time.
It bother me. I was like, I don't understand why the NBA won't move this, dog. Why you jamming up every fan?
You know I got to go out and do stuff with her. Right.
Okay, and the NBA is a little different than the NFL because they got a nice mix of men and women.
Yes.
Watching. You jamming up men and women.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So but this one of the first years, I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't even tripping. My wife was like, "Yo, you want to watch the new Love Is Blind?" I was like, "Man,
right.
This is crazy.
It's better than watching Wemby and Chris Paul
cheat at the skills competition.
Throw the skills competition.
It's like a cheat. They don't want to do it. See, yeah. Kevin Hart, who I love, crack jokes all night and watching Drewski and Carson. Yeah.
Yeah, God bless Kevin Hart, man. But like you can tell that they were grasping for straws with that jump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not his fault. It's not
at all.
Like,
they just doing what they were bought there to do. It's a shame they had to be bought there to do it.
And you've worn out Kenny and them too. You've worn out Shaq and Kenny. Like the stick is up. You've gone to the well too much. And one last thing I say about the dunk contest before we move on to Kendrick. I said this to you last year. I think I called you last year when the dunk contest. I saw Gilbert Arenas. I don't fully agree, okay, but I saw Gilbert Arenas earlier talking about he interviewed for one of the jobs at NBC / Peacock, right? Everything's moving over there. They're getting their teams together, right? Jalen Rose, I think, is going to be hosting the show, and they're going to, get the panel together. And he talked to Gilbert Arenas, and he was like, hey, man, whoever they pick, power to them, I hope they pick me, but, we'll see how that goes. But he was like, but one thing we talked about is that they do not want their shows over there. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but this is basically what he said. They don't want their shows to be like inside the NBA.
Right.
Because they feel like the inside guys, I don't agree with this fully, okay? They feel like the inside guys spend a lot of time talking down on the brand, right? That they want their guys to be a little less Jeff Van Gundy, right?
Right.
And a little more like, NBA's great, right? I kind of understand that, but I don't love that, right? But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Why I bring that up is because I do think that's true. Now, mind you, I was not listening to the announcers doing the dunk contest this year. I had my phone open looking at the dunk contest. or watching Love Is Blind.
How
I'm
about
listening
that?
to Love.
How about that?
Okay. So, but last year, I remember being very disappointed in the announcers for the dunk contest because I do think something like the dunk contest does not require harsh, like it's a hype thing. Like it's
Right.
like half of like if a young man goes out there jump and does a dunk, and I said this to you last year, the judging thing and the announcers, okay, I think they need to get younger judges. I think they need to have their peers judge. Okay.
They did some of that this year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed some of the judges were different. I
Yeah.
did peep that. Okay. They had KG out there and a couple of people, and that wasn't bad. You know what I mean? But also, and mind you, it may have changed because I didn't watch it. I didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kenny out there. Kenny has seen every dunk contest for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
He can't be impressed, and he's like breaking down the dunk, and the dude will do something. He'll go, see, but if he would have, what I needed him to do was cock it back twice, right? And then that would have been, it takes away the so I do agree that part of the energy has to come from the announcing team. It's got to be like, man, we're being
Definitely.
hyped. Dunk contest, bro. We about to, blah, 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 blah. What you think about that?
No, I agree. Like there are certain things that, like I said, it's the NBA has a very broad spectrum of an audience. You understand what I'm saying? So like some of those old school epithets and doing things the same way you've done in the past 30 years works for a small niche of your audience. But I believe that the NBA is always trying to reinvigorate itself to continually get new audience members. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get new fans excited. So it's some things are. I understand where they come from. Like I understand, like y'all have been watching this for the past 30 years. You have been, you know what I'm saying? So, but still, like you do in that particular thing, pumping things up is where it's at.
Yeah, and I think that, and then we can move on, bro. I think that when I hear Gilbert say that, my first initial reaction is to go, oh, they want yes man, but the NBA on NBC represents newness and throwback.
Yeah, this is about to represent newness and oldness.
But it also represents a time in the NBA where they really, I mean, just bringing back the contest special, right? Bringing that back is going to try to bring back memories of the NBA that I remember as like a kid, inside stuff and all that, where it wasn't Chuck and Shaq telling people how bad the big man is now or everybody sucks. And it wasn't that. And it may be beneficial to the NBA as much as I won't love it as a guy who watched old NBA and just wants to hear the truth, right? It may be worth it for the NBA to get to have more like hype around their brand if their brand is beginning to is at the cusp, the very early cusp of failing.
Yeah.
Hockey exists, Major League Baseball exists.
Football not going nowhere.
And I bring up those other two to say they used to be the shit. Baseball used to be number one. You can fall off. Boxing used to be, man, it's a fight this weekend, bro. We all going, it's a fight. Who having the fight party?
Yep.
Who house we going to watch the fight?
Yes.
Tyson fighting who?
What?
Ray fighting who?
Yep.
Roy Jones fighting who?
Yep.
What? Now,
yeah,
you see? So that sport can fall off. Do not get it twisted. The NBA can fall off.
Yeah.
You'll be looking up and go, man, remember when the NBA used to be? So they got to do something.
They got to.
And so it might be a little bit of propaganda having to happen.
Yeah, I think they're going to start going the way of like this time they had a lot of streamers involved. I think that's going to be. I think that when they go to NBC, I think they're going to do they're going to have a mixture of old school from and a lot of the new school epithets in there with it too.
Yeah, and really focusing on the young guys. Yeah. I get it. All right, let's move on.
Let's go.
Okay, so Kendrick Lamar, man. I don't need to give a breakdown of what happened. You know,
No.
if unless quite literally, especially about when we're recording this, and I'm glad we waited a little bit to record this. But by this time, unless you quite literally live under a stone in on a remote island,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you know what happened with
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar.
I think the Amish know about this story.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I seen the dude in man, I'm not trying to even like make it sound like I'm making fun. It was an African country. I just can't remember which one.
Right. Right.
Right. Emulating and like at his wedding, recreating the Not Like Us intro with the girls. You gonna do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. He was doing all the little moves Kendrick was doing it, like
Yeah.
at his wedding. That thing happened last week.
Yes.
Incredible. P, what's your thoughts on Kendrick Lamar's halftime show? We're gonna break it down as well.
My personal thoughts for Paul Spann is an incredible show. It's an incredible show. From first off, and I hope people realize, and I know not to have to get overtly technical and all that stuff. It is singing is difficult. Rapping at a certain pace and doing other things while rapping is also difficult. It takes an element of artistry to do both of these things. Like it takes an element of art. Understand something. Us just sitting here talking, you get tired just talking.
I had to swig water a couple of times because of my voice. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So for the fact that Kendrick Lamar has enough artistry in him to always perform. He never uses pre-recorded tracks. I hope people know that most shows, most shows, most everything is always pre-recorded tracks.
Wayne just did it on SNL 50. I don't know if you saw his performance. He had a backing track that came on too early.
Yep.
And he had to catch it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this was SNL.
So that he's able to do that for 13 minutes straight. Understand something with choreography, with like I'm a bit befuddled at the people that say things like it wasn't entertaining and all, like, because I wonder what element of entertainment are you looking for? Like, are you looking for a sword fight? Like, are you looking for like I don't. Like I don't get that part because for a rap artist to be able to like he's not a singer, he's not and we can go down the line of people that have performed before. You know, so I thought that the show was brilliant. For one, pointy it, Adam. The fact that he knew that 45/47 is there. I know you're here. Right? Like I know you are. So check this out.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The fact that the climate of our country, the things that we've seen happen since January the 20th, been overtly incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a good way in the least bit.
Right.
Like I'm not saying, you know, so and like deduce it, take it away from all the messages, take it from all the things that we had to decode and all that. To me, it was still a good show. It was still a good performance. To me, like I said, I don't know what element of what more element of entertainment you want. Like because we would do backflips or something like that and you know arm wrestle with someone. Like I don't know. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, bro. And understand, I am of the appreciation of thinking hip hop era. I am of the fight the power era. The fact that all of us, people listening to the show, people that just have Facebook, people that have any other element of social media, have an avenue to speak their voice, even on whatever level that we have the avenue to do so. And people do it, like even the stuff that they talk about, mainstream, you can't be a revolutionary, mainstream readout, we all use it. So the fact that you have this, like I don't, to me, any element of fighting for the cause is noteworthy. If you're a person that sparks the brain of people, it's noteworthy. If you're a person that uses your artistry and then uses your platform at the largest, even if it ruffles feathers, even if it does this, to bring note to things that maybe everyone can't voice. Maybe everyone
Mhm.
doesn't even know how to articulate it, but they feel it. If you can do that, I'm going to always applaud that. I'm never going to talk down on that.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and that's kind of that with the performance. I can't really add much more about the performance. I do want to talk about the impact a little bit because we are a week. It's over a week ago
Mm-hmm.
when we recorded this show. All
Mm-hmm.
right, and the impact is, we know what the impact is now, right? On Sunday night, we didn't know what the impact was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
On Monday, we didn't know what the impact. Me and you initially talked about this, right? And we, in full transparency, we wanted to talk about this much earlier, but I had the flu on Super Bowl
Yeah.
Sunday, so probably even still hearing it in my
Yeah.
voice a little
Yeah.
bit, like
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
my voice is completely gone. So, but that actually ended up being a good thing
Yep.
because I didn't want to. I'm in hindsight, I realized I didn't want to talk about this early because we just gonna be saying it's like what you said is it was bold, daring, different. Some people thought it was entertaining, some people didn't, right? I'm glad you broke that down. But the impact is incredibly interesting to me. Full transparency. Full transparency. Kendrick Lamar is not probably, is one of my favorite artists of all
All
time.
time. Yeah.
You know, he might be my personal favorite rapper of all time if I can still think in those terms, which I don't really anymore as a 43-year-old man. Like, who's my top? I don't really
Right.
think like that
Right.
anymore,
Right.
but I can say that, like, his music for me, and I'm saying this for a reason. One, I know in the comments, I want you to understand that I am a Kendrick fan. Okay. So let's not get that twisted. I don't want to hide that from nobody. No, there
Right.
ain't no secret agenda.
Right.
So all those songs worked for me because I love the GNX album, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I had been saying for years, and it's interesting because it kind of speaks to our short-term memory just as a society, right? We kind of like forget about things really quickly. And that's why a guy like Drake can feel like a bigger artist than Kendrick Lamar. And I mean this, okay? Future may even feel like a bigger artist than Kendrick Lamar. The Migos may feel like bigger artists than Kendrick Lamar, right? Lil Baby may feel like bigger artist than Kendrick Lamar because these artists are constantly making music.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly in your eye line. And some people may just like them better. I'm not saying you have to like
Right.
Kendrick Lamar better.
Right.
Okay. But I've known since like 2013 that Kendrick Lamar is one of the biggest stars in the world because every time he drops, it's a moment around him.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the biggest one because he did the Super Bowl and he battled a global superstar, right? So a lot people that weren't really paying attention to hip hop and music in general knew that these two rappers were beefing, and there's this crazy song, and he called him a PDF, and white woman in Arkansas knows that, right? But when Damn dropped, when To Pimp a Butterfly dropped,
Yes.
these are like global moments. People forget that
Yes.
We're Gonna Be All Right was a revolution movement song. They was playing that out during the Michael Brown
Yes.
protests. Okay.
Yes.
When Damn dropped, it was one of the biggest albums in the world.
Period.
They playing it all on the NBA.
Period.
When Black Panther, he did the Black. So this
Come
is
on.
so I'm saying this for a reason. Saying this for a reason. I think beyond the social impact of the performance, which is debatable for some people, right? If you're us, you loved it. If you're, leaned more towards the party, it irritated you. If you were like a high revolutionary, like a person who's like a leftist and like, you want to see everything burn, it wasn't enough for you. And I've seen all of those reactions. Okay. I've seen all those reactions. But what is not in doubt is that this is one of the greatest artists of our lifetime. I'm
Period.
about to read something to you. And it proves, okay, that this is one of the biggest stars. And he's a different kind of star. And it's not just what you're used to. Right now, this is from Double XL Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar becomes the first rapper simultaneously to chart 3 albums in the top 10 of Billboard 200 chart. As GNX returns to number 1, Damn surges to number 9. In 2012's Good Kid, Mad City has risen to number 10. That's happening right now.
Yeah.
So,
aside from the fact that he's won a Pulitzer Prize, by the way.
Right. That's multiple Grammys. We all know what's up. I just won 5 Grammys a week before the Super Bowl. Why I point that out, that stat right there, because there was talk afterwards because he didn't quite get what happened, and he worked a new album. I understand it, right? Well, he wasn't big enough for the Super Bowl. That's why he's a niche artist. He's the first artist ever, okay, to have all 3 of his albums. One from 2012. The only one that's not charting is Mr. Morale.
Right.
And I looked, and Mr. Morale is like number 29.
How about that?
Okay.
Still within the top 100.
So, there's an appetite for Kendrick Lamar. There's an appetite for Kendrick Lamar's brand of music.
Yes.
And to broaden the scope of this conversation, I was telling our boy Shannon, I was talking to Shannon about this a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and hopefully he'll be on the show soon.
Yeah.
Just to kind of join us, man. He would be a good conversation, man. I was telling him that if you look at the times when dude drops, now I'm not calling him no prophet. He don't know that the cops are going to gun down a young man and Pimp a Butterfly is going to become an important album, or Trump is going to be in office and Damn is going to become an important album, right? You know, he can't. I'm not saying that, right? He may have known the president.
He's not the Simpsons writers.
Yeah, he's not a god. I'm not, you know what I mean? But I do think that people gravitate to this type of art in troubling times.
Yeah.
And that's not reserved to Kendrick Lamar. It's a reason why Bob Dylan's music was important. It's the reason why Billie Holiday's music was important.
When Andrew Day made Will Rise Up, it was a very important song.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on, right? But if you look at the times that Kendrick is the hottest artist in the world, is in times where we're more serious. Mr. Morale came out in 2020. You know what I'm saying? A lot of pandemic talk was in that album.
Crazy time for us.
Okay. I go on and on, bro. Charleston and all that stuff was going on during. I get going on. So what I learned about the Kendrick performance, and what everything that's going on around him. This is not by mistake. This is not a riding because he keeps talking about Drake. It's not that. It's a fan base that's always been there, that's larger than the other fan base and more loyal than the other fan base. It's not just when you give me the club bops, I'm good. It's I'm looking forward to this artist, and when this artist drops this type of work. I'm quiet when he's not around because I'm an adult and I got other things to do.
About that.
But when he is around, I'm excited about the art. I'm not hoping Drake drops something so I can play it. Hoping a girl may drop her panties for me because she like that Drake. We're going to get into that Drake album. It ain't that. It ain't the trap and all that. It's important art that makes you think, and there is a large appetite for it. It's proven by the numbers, which is the thing that when the battle was going on kept getting thrown in our face. But the streams, his stream, even without all the Drake stuff streams. There we go. It's proven. The most watched Super Bowl ever.
The
most watched halftime show ever. I'm about to shut up. The most watched television program. Sorry, my bad. The second most watched television program other than the moon landing.
How about that?
It's okay to say you're living in a time where a great artist exists. It's fine. You don't have to like that artist. I don't listen to Bob Dylan.
Neither do I,
But I
bro.
can tell you that Bob Dylan was one of the most
And
important
I know
artists
his
to ever
impact.
live.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, that's what I learned about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me correct myself, and then I'm handing it over to you. Not what I learned, what was confirmed for me, what I knew in 2013
Yeah.
when Good Kid, Mad City was out. I
Yeah.
knew it. Okay.
I wasn't old enough to understand everything about Prince when I was younger. You
Mm,
understand what I'm saying? I wasn't old enough to understand how impactful his music was because I just didn't get it. It wasn't necessarily for me at my age. You dig what I'm
mhm,
saying? But it never took me away from knowing how important he was as a figure. And then when I did learn about the things that he did, when I learned about the things that he did for artists, when I learned about even his genius and reasoning behind switching his name to a symbol, specifically,
mhm,
so he didn't have to honor giving these people those albums, right? The genius of him, right? I was
mhm,
able to respect it even more, right? Music. I take it away from music. Like you just said, I think people fail to realize, and I too am a Kendrick Lamar fan. I'll let that be
mhm,
noted too. Artistry is a full gambit of things. The reason that you can see Kendrick Lamar go on Power and play a crackhead is because he taps into his artistry, and he wanted to
mhm,
play a weird, quirky role against what people may think because he's an
mhm,
artist. The same way that Tupac was an artist. You understand what I'm
mhm,
saying? So like for some people can forget the origins of hip hop. Hip hop has always been a disruptor. The origins of it is to tell a story of other people who don't get that story told. It's to
mhm,
talk about injustices that are going on. It's to explain the poverty rate where we live and the reasonings behind certain things. And I'm not even gonna get into like if we not even gonna get into the violence and the and all those things that are American epithets that were truthfully put into our neighborhoods, and I'll leave that alone for now and stick to artistry. So
mhm,
when you have a person or a group of people that can tap into that and also make it catchy, make it to
mhm.
whereas the people that quote unquote and this is just a wild statement that the people that don't want to think, which is in my personal opinion a crazy thing to say. It's really a crazy thing for an adult to say to me. To me personally, it's just a crazy thing. What the hell do you mean you don't want to think?
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
But like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
okay, but when you
yeah.
have someone that can embody that, and like I said, that like for me personally, bro, I'm 47 years old. Hip hop is a way that I live my life.
Mhm.
Like there are things that and Adam, we've done many symposiums. We did a symposium on the word nigga, and I stated how I felt about it. And
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Based on things that I learned as a 13-year-old from Tupac Amaru Shakur. That I
yeah.
carry, that I actually taught to my son. So like messaging has always been something that like Motown was built on love on melodies and love songs that had political reasoning behind them.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
So like
mhm.
this is like for me this has been an avenue, and I think it's overtly necessary, bro. Like there are some people that the only thing that they can relate to is artistry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there are some people whose voices only get heard through a certain lens. Everybody doesn't have the wherewithal to do exactly what we're doing right now. You
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's and like I said, it just some of the comments and some of the things honestly just boggle my mind, especially for people of our hue who are truthfully experiencing the exact same things that we're experiencing right now. It's just a interesting thing, and I think that it's the gift and the curse of the internet. Personally,
yeah. No, I mean, obviously, yeah, 100%. And it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. We talked about this, and amongst ourselves, you know how I felt, right? Um, but again, I'm glad I had this week to really digest it because when I learned it doesn't matter, right? You never have, and you know this. I'm not saying this to you, but just I have to say it. you'll never have universal thought
No,
on anything,
no,
right? We all heard the stories about black people on boycotting the bus and the black neighbor going, y'all stirring up trouble. I don't get why you're doing this, right? So we get it, okay? And I don't think you said something, and I laugh because it's real, but it's also like, I get it. I'm a dad. You're a granddad. You're a dad and a grandfather right now, and you've been are in and have been in the hustle or bustle of life. Wake up in the morning, spend most of your day at work, come home. You got a couple of hours to yourself before you going to sleep and waking up and doing the same thing all over again. Life can get really stressful and it can be a complete blower. I saw a comedian earlier talking about Trump, which we will talk about on this show soon. We haven't gotten to our real political thoughts yet.
no.
Maybe that for y'all. But I saw a comedian talking about Trump and how he's going to basically choose to not let Trump occupy his time for the next 4 years.
Right.
And I read the comments, and there was a bunch of people calling him weak and feckless, and oh, you just gonna let them do that, But I kind of understood where he was coming from because it's like, stressful to be thinking about that all the time and be mad.
You can't let it consume you. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I get somebody that watches the Super Bowl, especially if you're not a big Kendrick Lamar fan, right? And goes, well, that's not what I was hoping to see at the Super Bowl when I'm sitting here crushing buffalo wings and drinking and playing, guessing the commercial.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
You know what I mean? Like I get that. I wasn't at my Super Bowl party, right? I was legit shivering in my bed. Right. While the Super Bowl was on. Okay, so I couldn't even tell my man Shad, I couldn't even text. I was like, I can't even like vibe to the joke like I really want to because
you're hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, like I'm like sick. So, but I kind of my wife was at the Super Bowl party and she came home and told me what she thought about it. She loved it, right? But I'm curious. I'll never know. But I'm curious to see. I wonder how the room reacted,
right?
Because I know we do our Super Bowl party. We crush pizza and we guess the half people ain't even watching the game. They sitting there talking, and like me and 3 other dudes are sitting on the couch, usually like this, watching the game.
Right.
So I'm curious to see like how they reacted to hearing, man in the what's the show called? Man in the Garden, and hearing Peekaboo. Don't even know what that song. That song is like wow to get into, knowing that there's 16 dudes around him because those are the 16 friends that died. Like all of the heavy. I get it. Okay. To your point, though, the over critique and the anger about it is what threw me off.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine to say, yo, I really hope next year Missy Elliott does the Super Bowl because I really just want to dance
and party.
That's fine. I'm not uppity enough and pretentious enough to tell you you're dumb for not wanting to hear a protest artist every year.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Okay. Same way I can live through the Rihanna performance, who I like Rihanna, but I've never listened to Rihanna album in my life. When she was up there, I was the girls in the room, a lot of people remember bopping. Right. I was in that show like, it was cool.
Right.
Beyonce performed at the Houston Texans game a couple of months back, and she did Cowboy Carter songs. Yeah. And I don't know those songs like that.
Never heard that album, Adam, and I was still bumping.
I don't get mad about it, is what I'm saying. It doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me angry to have it your way, fan that wants the bops. It doesn't make me mad. If Wayne were up there, I would not have been mad about Wayne being up there.
No.
Maybe I would have laughed because maybe Wayne would have been a bad performance, right? But I wouldn't have been like, oh, Wayne up here for. Why are you doing that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not like that man went up there and said black people are stupid. It's not like he went up there and disrespected anybody but the system. And this makes you angry.
You need to think about
what was to me. It's not even that you don't want to think. You're lying.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel uncomfortable. That's your problem. You don't have no problem thinking. You're going to think about all the lyrics of your favorite song, right? If there were Easter eggs in a fun performance,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had no problem with that. Okay? If they would sit you on a scavenger hunt for their next album, you got to look for the QR code on the dancer. You'd be doing it all week.
All that. All of
You
that.
don't got a problem thinking.
All of that.
What you got a problem with, and I ain't even mad at white people having a problem with this. They supposed to.
They are. Exactly. Exactly.
I got a problem with black people being angry at a black person attempting, even if he failed in your mind, attempting to speak to black people. This makes you angry? Even if he failed, even if you feel like he didn't do a good job at it, I couldn't understand what he was saying. At least he was trying to speak to you.
Good
At least
point.
he was up there representing
Yeah.
you. And this makes you angry?
And speak for you and explain elements of your story and explain elements of what is happening to you in real life right now.
Even if it bored you and you didn't, it wasn't effective for you. It's perfectly understandable to say, I didn't really get it. I'll happily explain it to you.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at it.
But the fact I'm mad about it, the fact that I have people on my timeline when I commented on the Super Bowl and gave it, my stamp of approval. People commenting, talking about he a fake activist. What did he really do? That's the shit we've been doing. I hate when people say this because black people are not a monolith. And I hate when we get into we got to do better shit. But that is a crab in the barrel mentality.
It is, man.
That's some weak.
It is.
That's weak. Yeah.
No, and understand something. If we call ourselves the gatekeepers, we're gatekeeping our culture in every element of it. It's not just against when other races disrespect us. It's our culture, period. And in that is something that we need to get better. Like you said, it's one thing to not understand something. It's one thing for something to not be your cup of tea. But when someone is attempting to shed light on a problem, like we have a problem in America.
Yeah.
From economics to education to systematic oppression. It's an actual thing. Like a real thing. It's not this isn't made up. This isn't we can follow science and history on this. Now, for other sector of people whom America has been a lot better for, whom these rules and who these oppressions, who these things benefit, of course they're gonna have overt problems with it. That makes 100% sense. I would expect for that segment of America to always be that way. I expect that's not a surprise. That doesn't make me go, man, why don't they understand? I don't get it. No, I get that. I full wholeheartedly get that. It's almost honestly what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Like in order to keep this thing the way that it is, that's what they're supposed to do. So for me, anyone like you don't all of us have our place, right? Shout out to King Green. King Green had made a comment on one of our friends posts, and he broke down the difference between a revolutionary and a revolutionary artist. He said a revolutionary is a on the ground, boots on the ground person directly in the fight. They're in communities, they're in neighborhoods, they're in law rooms, right? A revolutionary artist brings those ideas, brings the paints a picture for your eyes and your ears to see, brings some of the work that the revolutionaries are doing to the forefront for you. Now, mind you, you and I, we are thinkers. We bring voice to certain situations. Like everything has its place. And for me, like you said, for Black people, for minorities in general, to have a problem with like to have vitriol. This one thing to say, man, it wasn't for me. It wasn't entertaining enough for me. It wasn't enough moonwalking. Like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I was expecting, fire hula hoops. I was,
that's a Super Bowl.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
Super Bowl.
But
Right.
and believe you me, Adam, there have damn sure been boring Super Bowl performances before, bro.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. It's been plenty of yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
like
what I'm saying, bro. Like
having
it's
to
yeah.
have
Go
an
ahead, bro.
overt problem with, and then to like to talk down on someone
Mm.
attempting to lift you up is just an interesting mentality. And even to whether I use the old epithet or I don't use it, it is something that we need to get better at. Like it really is, because
Mhm.
it's almost saying that they're right.
It's not almost saying. You are saying that. You may not realize you're saying that. You may not get it. You may feel like you're saying something different, but you are saying it right. You're saying, come on now, shut up, be quiet, man. Nah, again, the leftists, the people that are like, ultra radical, it wasn't enough for them. You'll never be able to do. You got to go out there, set yourself on fire. You got to go first. You got to go out there and go. First of all, I announce that I will not accept any money from this performance, and if you do force me to take the money, I'm going to scatter it amongst whatever you feel like is the best, charity.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Yes.
right? Because I could pick the wrong one, and you all will tell me why that was wrong, right? It's probably not even some people in this country. It's probably somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to set myself on fire and sacrifice myself in front of the world. And that is
Just to let y'all know.
just to let y'all know. And that way I passed your morality
your
test.
test. Your revolutionary test.
Yeah, people on the far, revolutionary spectrum, I can't, you're not going to be able to satisfy them. It's okay to say, it's not enough for me, right? It's okay to say, I'm not going to drop to my knees and worship Kendrick. By the way, you shouldn't. And I don't believe in fact, I know, because there's songs where he talks about how I'm not your savior and how these people are not. None of these people should be our savior. What it should do, what revolutionary acts and revolutionary artistry should do, which is always done, whether it be Basquiat, whether it be Dylan or Hendrix or anyone that you consider Public Enemy, Tupac, whoever, right? Dead Prez,
Yes.
Most Def, go on the line, whoever you consider to be a revolutionary artist, what they should do is motivate you.
How about it?
They should inspire you to go do things
in your community.
The best. That's it. And it's okay. Listen, it's okay for you to not want to deal with that. I get it. Not everybody's going to be, sometimes the best you can do. I think so, because I think sometimes the best, because hear me out. Hear me out. Okay for you to not want to be a revolutionary.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. I'm with you.
And it's okay for you to not want to do or feel like you can do a bunch of cage shaking, right? Sometimes the best you can do is be the best citizen you can be and the best member of your community you could be. Sometimes your revolutionary act is raising your children. Sometimes your revolutionary act is buying a home. Sometimes your revolutionary act is loving your wife and treating your wife good and showing your kids how to treat a woman, or showing your kids how to treat a man.
Yeah.
Not in a sexual way, but in a respect way. So they grow up and be respectful people. Sometimes it's just as simple as that, right? Maybe you watched that performance and came out of it and was like, wow, he's really great at his job. I want to go be great at my job. Okay? Whatever. It's perfectly fine to not watch that and want to go out there, John, and protest or go change the system. You probably can't get that. Okay? It's also okay to be like, man, that was cool. I'm happy for the Kendrick fans, but I really hope next year Lil Jon and the East Side Boys team up with Mariah Carey and bring James Brown back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? And whoever else, and we just have a big giant party. I get it. Okay? Like we said before, I don't want to keep hammering this point because we are running low on time. You need to really look at yourself in the mirror if this made you mad. Not only if this made you mad, I can almost live with that. but if you're mad that other people were excited by it. If you're doing it because of Drake, you're a weirdo and a goofy to the maximum. Seriously. If you're doing it because you're mad he battled Drake, I was going to get
him.
Yeah, bro. Listen, we ain't gonna. We can talk about the Drake album next time, okay?
Yeah,
because we don't got a lot of time. But I wanted just to mention, dude, if you're doing it, and I mean this, if you're doing it because you're irritated, you're like still playing like the Drake, and I get it. He went at your man at the Super Bowl. He had to do it. There was an element of the Super Bowl that was like, I'm going at Drake. I get it. Okay. But if you're mad about that, you need to really like relax. If you're mad because you feel uncomfortable now, because he said some things that make Tucker Carlson or whoever else upset, might even make
the
guy in the White House upset.
Good. Like, there's also a revolutionary act, Adam, called shutting the fuck up. Like,
sometimes it's the most revolutionary and strongest thing you can do.
Like, if you don't completely understand something, if you and honestly, Adam, if you don't have anything to contribute, we can all of us have the ability to talk shit about anything. All of us, we can all
legit. You can talk shit to millions of people if you're lucky enough.
We can okay. That. But like yourself, like what element of help is this bring? And like you said, I always, when we talk about things, I always talk to people about the micro to macro level, right? Something that you were already alluding to. In the micro level, ensure that we take care of our personal families, and we're instilling things into our children. We're instilling self-respect into them. We're instilling, for those of us that have children of melanin, we're instilling Black pride into them. We're instilling whom they are. So one, they're not a detriment to society because that's our job. For two, they also know whom and what they are within this society, which is not a problem. Then from that micro level, then educate yourself in the political process. You listen, you may not want to be involved, but understand we still live here in this country. We still live here. So get more learned. Learn about the branches of government. Learn about the smaller
as long as they exist,
that are vastly more important than the larger elites.
Right.
Learn about those things. Like, understand something. And this is too, like, understand, Adam, you've known me all for 20, almost 25 years. I've always been idealistic. My thought process has always been revolutionary, but it's not ridiculous revolutionary. It's know that I can't revolutionize something that I don't even know or understand. How can you not know something and you want to, how can you change something you can't even explain that you don't even know about?
Right.
So that is our job. So micro to macro. Once we've taken care of our families, then we do what we can for our community, and then we extend it out from there. Prayerfully, and like I said, even the fact that artistry has brought the collective world to thinking and having conversation shows you its power. On whatever side that you're on. If you're on that I'm tired of thinking, that I don't want any new wrinkles in my brain currently. Like I said, it's still going to always be interesting to me, but everyone has the power to feel and think however they want to. I don't have the wherewithal to tell people what to think. But when we, not that it's for us to think about 24 hours a day, for us to live our life with our heads down, or for us to live in fear or anything like that. But there are real things going on in this world that affect us. So somebody bringing those things to the forefront and allowing you an element of thought in which can extend into actual action, because something that we do have to realize that even within this society, some of these people are still public servants, and there are still things that we can do. Not that we're going to change everything, because we're not going to, but there are things that we can do to help ourselves. So I think we should, sometimes focus more on that.
I mean, but I think you said it best. Sometimes you could also just be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, I could argue that we in this mess we in, because of, and I think some people starting to realize, wow, I did a lot of talking about nonsense, and now look at us. I didn't really know what I was talking about, but I had to be an expert on something. And now look at it. So, bro, it's a lot to cover, a lot to get into. But I think that the number one thing that has been proven, here we are a week later, it's proven that the impact is undeniable. So legit, it doesn't matter how many people were mad about it or thought this or thought that. The impact is real.
Yeah.
Impact, people have been talking about it for a week straight. It was the most watched second most watched television event in the history of television. All right. You got record sales. That means it's not just a good Kendrick thing, right? It means that people are going, this artist, I need to go back and listen to that catalog because what I saw sparked my mind.
Invoke something in me. Yeah.
Invoke something. So now you're going back and listening to catalogs that I can tell you are important catalogs.
Yes.
I saw a clip of a dude, he titled it #1 Kendrick Hater, right? And he was breaking down crying.
I saw that.
Listening, okay, listening to sing about
that.
it. Okay, so this is a good thing. It doesn't matter who hated, who didn't love it, or whatever. The impact happened.
Period. And I'm glad that we did have a chance to sit back and be able to say that, to be able to see the actual impact as opposed to just talking smack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead, you know what I mean? Like, because if the performance would have been bad and I was just like on an island, or me and you were on an island liking it, but the consensus was that it's awful, right? And if Homie comes out with a new album, which he did, and it was like a big hit, and it just kind of proved that, one artist is a one-trick pony and the other one is the real global thing, then I would say, man, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just, for me, I just like Kendrick music and I'm just that type of guy, but, I'm kind of alone in this. But I feel comfort in the fact that I'm not alone in this. That, again, it's not about dude being a savior. It's not really even about his music necessarily, right? Because, again, Not Like Us is, it has it has a larger cultural point, right? But at the end of the day, it's, I don't fool cuz and I'm going at it, right?
Yeah.
Get that. Okay. But the cultural point is what I'm glad people are getting into. And again, and this is my last point on it. It doesn't have to mean you need to go outside and put on a black beret and get a shotgun and, go Huey P. Newton on people. Yeah. Okay.
You don't gotta go just one of these.
Yeah, you don't gotta be like P. You know what I'm saying? You can celebrate 4th of July, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta, you ain't gotta go crazy. Yeah. But you can. But we just want, especially our people. It's kind of the reason why we're doing this show. Everybody's so upset with us about Andrew Schultz and how we were going at Andrew Schultz and all that. But what we were trying to say is that he does not get to dictate what's important and not important to us. You can think he's funny. You can watch his podcast. But we were saying there were black men on that stage with him while he's saying what is what, and they sat quiet. And it's the same thing happening now. Tucker Carlson and Fox News and whoever else does not get to tell us what that.
No.
You know who had it best? Funny enough, Kid Rock. Kid Rock was like, he did that for black people and right on. Kid Rock.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Like,
I just shouted out Kid Rock.
Yeah, which is crazy. Right.
Which is wow. Hey, man, a broken clock, right?
Listen.
A broken clock.
It ain't nothing wrong with partying. It ain't nothing wrong with having a good time. It ain't nothing wrong with shaking your tail feather and all that stuff. Because, understand something. The NFL sits in seats with these people. The NFL, certain owners send money to this, that do all that stuff. I still watch the Super Bowl because I wanted to. You understand? Because in truth, the world is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And so we can pick and choose, but like when there's a greater good involved, when there are things that we literally have to understand, there certain parts of their attempt to take elements of knowledge away from our children. They don't want you to learn something. There's a thing they literally have a thing called the woke movement, which is crazy, that people are fighting against.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Which really just they need to just call it what it is, black.
Yeah.
But we mask it under the woke movement, air quotes if I could do them. But my point is,
I'll do it
man.
for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Stand in the gap for me, brother.
Yeah.
My point behind it is, man, like, while, like I said, while it's not, we don't need to go, like, we don't need to put our black hoods on and cry every single day. We don't have to do that. But being aware and doing our part in both helping our families and helping the larger society, even if it's through bringing messaging forward, in my personal opinion, it is part of something that we all should be attempting to do in whatever way that we can. It doesn't have to look like the same way that everyone else is doing. You understand? But it's definitely not something that we need to overtly talk down on. That's all I got on that, bro.
Yep, and that's that for us today.
Yeah.
Appreciate you all, man. Shouts out to everybody that listened to today's episode, man. Follow us, man. We're gonna be more consistent with this one. That first episode was more like a test in the water. We got a good response from that one, so we here now. We got some plans for this show, man. We're gonna make this a live stream, so be on the lookout for that, man. Appreciate you all. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, do all of those things, man. You can follow my boy on social media when he on social media.
When I'm on there on the rare occasions.
Yeah, what's your handle, bro?
That Black Man Spann, baby. Y'all know what time it is.
I had some people DM me. You remember T?
Yeah.
From PG? He DM me and it's Paul okay, you never post. I was like, that's number 5, man. You just don't like being on social media. He's not chronically online like me.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, man. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Follow the Gatekeepers, the Gatekeepers on social media. Follow us on TikTok and on Instagram. The Gatekeepers. Yeah. I gotta make sure I say that one right. Yeah. The Gatekeepers. And follow me, MSR_Adam, MSR_Adam, man. Appreciate you all. Remember to take care of yourselves, take care of your physical health, your mental health, and remember to always be great.
Elevate us.
Out of here.
Peace.
Peace.